I would like to start with a clarification. In spite of the way that I'm dressed, I'm Israeli. So, I'm not an organizer. I'm here because I've been told to come and I've been told to present ELSC. So I'm going to tell you what is ELSC, at least the way that I conceive of ELSC. So ELSC is a multidisciplinary community of excellent scientists who study brains. Okay? Now I'll unpack that. Brains. Okay, why do we study brains? Okay, so I'm ready to make the claim that all human greatness comes from the brain. You will tell me it comes from the heart and so on and so forth, and I will tell you it's not really the heart, it's also the brain. Okay, everything that we do that is interesting and beautiful comes from the brain. But also, much of human misery is due to brain diseases. So the brain is something that we would like to understand from both aspects. But understanding the brain is hard. And the reason, basically, is the brain is many things. And it's different things at different levels. For example, the molecules are very important when trying to understand how the brain works. And then you have a machinery, these machines that are much smaller than a single neuron. There are 10,000 of these on each neuron that are called synapses. And this is where neurons talk to each other. These are extremely complicated machines, and you also need to understand them. And then you need to understand the neurons and the networks that the neurons are forming, and at the end, when you get the behavior. Okay? Now, same thing happens also with time scales. I mean, you may remember, the younger will probably remember better, and the older at least less well, some of the words or sentences that I said now. Okay? Now, you may remember them for weeks or months or years. So this means that an event that lasted 1 second or a few seconds, okay, changes your brain. You're going to come out of this room with a brain that's different than the one with which you entered the room, and you will remember something that happened over 1 second. You remember it for years. Okay, so all of these connections in space, time, complexity, they are what makes understanding the brain so hard. So our approach for studying the brain is to bring a lot of people who study different aspects of the brain. So this is a multidisciplinary part of ELSC. Okay, and the idea is that there are many disciplines that compose brain sciences. So you have biological brain sciences. This is what I do and what Adi is doing. We'll talk later. Genes, molecules, neurons, networks, brains, currents, and all kinds of electrical currents and voltages and all kinds of things like that. And then you have, at the other extreme, if you wish, you have what we call cognitive brain sciences. So these are people who study what the brain does. Behavior, cognition, emotion, decisions, creativity is here because Idan Seger wanted it very much, so it's here. So the big problem that we have when trying to understand the brain is to figure out how the biology creates the interesting stuff. Okay? And for that we have the theoreticians, okay, who are building the conceptual understanding of how the two things connect to each other. But that's a mystery. Okay? So here's all of these disciplines in ELSC. I will not just note that there are many, many titles here. I'm not going to go over them, but we are a lot. Today we are 30-something, 35 people in ELSC who come from different disciplines and who are trying to talk together about how the brain works. Now we are also excellent. Here I have a problem. Okay, that's, I shouldn't tell you how excellent we are, okay, but we are. And finally, we are a community. Okay, so a lot of the activities that we are doing have as a goal to link us together. For example, every week, all the PIs of ELSC and only the PI, the principal investigator or the lab heads, meet together to discuss science once a week. We are, as director of ELSC, I'm directing a substantial amount of the funds that I have for eliciting joint projects among ELSC members. So the community is an important aspect of it. We live in this, the community lives in this beautiful building. Many of you have been there, and those who were not yet, you're very much invited. These neural networks, these are actual drawings of, based on drawings of actual neurons in actual brain slices. And that's a sign of the time. Okay? And finally, the big question that I will not answer, okay, what do we study the brain for? You will learn about that in the coming days. But I do want to emphasize that there are many different levels of doing science. Okay, there's the basic research, there's translational research, and there's the applied research where you actually already try to build applications from your understanding. ELSC is mostly here. Okay, now our scientists also do translational and applied research, but the institute is the Institute of Basic Research. So that's my presentation of ELSC, and now I want to invite Adi Mizrahi to take over.